Hello, I'm Jan Mulvey and you're watching the Redmen TV.
Hello, welcome to the Redmen TV. It's the Uncensored match build-up show ahead of Liverpool's trip down to Villa Park to take on Paul Lambert's Aston Villa side. I'm joined by Chris Pajak and John Machin in the studio to give you the build-up to this game. Chris, first and foremost, Liverpool, we're in form. We're back. We're in decent form. We are one of the form sides in the Premier League. We've still not. I think it's still not clicked. You know, we're still the same problems we've had almost consistently throughout the season remain. A lack of cutting edge. How positive are you going into this game?
It's so tough at the moment, though, isn't it? Because we have been a little bit up and down in the games that we've played as well. If we come out like the first half against Sunderland, I think we could really, have a really good performance again and actually win the game. If we come out like we did in the second half, then we'd struggle. And that's been, I think that's almost like a microcosm of the last sort of 12 or 13 weeks almost, because we have been a little bit up and down. I remember Burnley on Boxing Day and Swansea, and it's all been a little bit all over the place. And that, we it's much publicised the reasons, and we know that we're just not lethal enough in front of goal at the moment. But I think, if you take that up and down, we're still moving up, generally speaking. So the form is still getting to the right place, and we just need to keep building on it week by week until we can get our Daniel Sturridge back.
Yeah, it's another example of those games. I was asked this prior to Sunderland, Dad, how optimistic I was feeling, and literally I feel bloody bipolar over these games at times, because the bipolar performance is being put in by the team. When the midfield click and they get goals, we'll win games and we'll put teams to the sword, but we're relying on midfielders for goals.
If the midfield doesn't function, the team don't function, do they? And when it's noticeable in games that when we lose the midfield, we look awful. But when the midfield are on song, we look good.
Yeah. I
mean, the fact that we're now top of the form league over the last 5 games is important for me, because it shows that we are progressing.
Yes.
As Chris said, and we are reaching much better levels than we have for most of the season. And for Villa, I'm happy we're playing them away than at home.
Yeah.
They're a team we struggle with at Anfield,
yes,
and we have done for a few seasons now. But away from home, we seem to have the measure of them. So I'm much more comfortable about going there than I was if we were playing them home, but also more comfortable than going to Sunderland, because you never know what the hell's going to happen to Sunderland.
Yeah, it's true. Aston Villa are a mad club, and I'd really pay very little attention to them, even though 2 of me brother-in-laws are Aston Villa fans. It's basically my updates on them is when they text me to say normally when they're beating us or taking points off us. The 13th in the Premier League at the moment, which is fine, 3 points above the relegation zone, like Everton. But they've got a minus 12 goal difference, which is the 3rd worst in the league. Wow. Which we always talk about the importance of goal difference. It tends to balance out where you're due to end up in the table. They've only scored 11 goals. 11 goals in the Premier League this season. I thought we had goal scoring issues. That makes me feel so much happier. It does. I'm one of those people who takes pleasure in the displeasure of others and whatever. But they've got the 5th best defensive record in the league. Yeah, wow. They've only conceded 23 goals, so they're a bonkers team.
Well, that means they lose every game 2-1, doesn't
it? But it's
that's our score as well. In fairness, so.
Wow, well, I was going to say, they've drawn the last 3 home games. Is this another one nailed on? But there you go. It all looks like a 2-1 nailed on.
When we went to Sunderland, they're a team who draw a lot of games at home, and I thought that was almost nailed on, a 0-0 draw. But fortunately, we played brilliantly in the first half, and they never really looked much, even in the second half. Did they? Villa, I do expect us to go there and win.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the weird thing about Villa, and this was more, I don't know how true this, of course, this is this season, but last season, they had the thing that they could play, they had more freedom playing away from home because the tactics that Paul Lambert saw, and we saw them at us, literally screaming at his players to boot the ball down the pitch to Benteke. You can get away with that away from home, whereas, you don't win your fan base over by playing horrific defensive medieval
there are
brand
obviously
football.
One of those sides where you need to keep them quiet for 20 minutes, don't you? And the crowd then get on their backs, and then you can start to do your job. So hopefully that'll happen
Well, our away form is the 4th best in the Premier League at the moment. Chris and I discussed this on the Final Word show, is that in some respects, given the increasing form of Liverpool Football Club, is it kind of good that we're having this little patch of away games just to maybe get the confidence up? Because at Anfield, there's been a really negative atmosphere.
We've been at Anfield, haven't we, a lot of the time this season. Dropped far too many points at home this season. But we've become a side that are difficult to beat. I mean, we've lost 1 in 13. That's terrific.
Yeah.
That's championship winning form.
Yeah.
If we maintain that.
You take a few of those draws into.
I know there were a lot of draws in there and a lot of poor performances, but it's been a sort of steady improvement and a steady building up of that ability to stop getting beat. And if Aston Villa can't beat us, then I'm quite confident we'll beat them. Yeah,
absolutely. Steven Gerrard should be fit, Chris. Good thing for you?
I think it's one of those games where he sits out now, I think, to be honest with you. He's played well. He has affected football games when he's played them over the last few weeks, but now probably I'd like to see him start against Chelsea. And to do that, I think that he's got to sit this one out.
Okay,
absolutely.
How do we do that then?
There were a lot of people on Twitter and elsewhere who said, we played really well in the first half against Sunderland and we were terrible in the second half. And why were we terrible? Who wasn't playing in the second half? Well, of course, Gerrard wasn't playing. So therefore it was Gerrard. That was the difference. Gerrard, we played terrible without him. We're playing brilliantly with him. Therefore,
could have been Dejan Lovren.
We shouldn't be sending him. Yeah, good man. We shouldn't be sending him off to California. We should be doing everything we can to keep it. Blah blah. All that stuff. But Chris is right. I mean, he's coming back from a tight hamstring, isn't he? So you don't want to push that, and you do want him to play against Chelsea. And it's his first game against Chelsea at Anfield. No, it's not. It's his second. Since the famous. Loss
of footing, shall we say?
So I'd want him against Chelsea definitely, rather than against Aston Villa. Although, to be honest, he scores some good goals at Aston Villa. He's got a couple of good free kicks at Villa.
Yeah.
So
I'm of the opinion.
Him on in the second half for a little run out.
Why?
Test his
test that, Hammy.
See,
is Sterling back, Paul?
Sterling's back.
Then I'd rather have Sterling where Gerrard's been playing. So just keep Barini up top.
So I think that's the only logical way I think we can work it at the moment, because without Lallana,
Lallana's not fit, is it?
Yeah, maybe Sterling, probably move Sterling over to the left, Coutinho into the 10.
As long as Sterling and Coutinho are there, and I'm quite happy with Fabio Barini up front. I'm happy with either Markovic or Moreno. Alternate whichever you want at left wing back, maybe Manquillo right, Henderson, Lucas in the centre.
It's I actually do want to see Gerrard start this game, because it's funny because we were talking about this the other day, and now saying how these older players like Man United, you say to all the players for the big games, is I'm not convinced Gerrard will be as effective against Chelsea. The idea of him coming up against, if he plays in the 10 and they've got someone like Matic, is he going to be as effective in the big games? Are we better off getting the best of him against the lesser?
That might be a good way to keep Matic quiet, because Gerrard is still a very, very good player, and I think you do need to do something about Matic, because otherwise he'll just dominate the whole of the midfield and that'll be the end. I mean, my concern about Gerrard playing against Villa is simply that if he's had a tweaked hamstring or whatever, then you've got to be careful not to make sure it goes completely. When he's out for the next month.
No, it's a good point. But if he's fit and he's fine, actually, I would rather use him as the sort of flat sack bully and use him to beat teams where he is clearly better than. I think we'll see far more. My worry is we're saving Gerrard for Chelsea, and then he plays against Chelsea and we see all the limitations that we've seen all season from him. The aging legs and all that kind of stuff. I'd rather start him against Villa and use him as an impact against Chelsea.
You see the point,
The other thing I would consider is playing Balotelli from the start against Villa.
Really?
Yeah, because he still looks a much better player than Barini. Barini runs around like a headless chicken all over the place. I know it's a lot of energy and all the rest of it, but I don't see any end product from him particularly. And Mario is, even against Sunderland, got into positions to score.
Because we've seen loads of end product
and
from Mario Balotelli.
He falls over a lot. No, but he gets into the positions, and Barini doesn't particularly, does he?
Maybe. I mean, he did have that chance You know, when he goes round the keeper, doesn't he? I know he misses it, but you know, still, that's the position to be in. No, I thought Barini did enough. That if we're not going to swap it, if we're not going to immediately swap him for Sterling, if we're going to play Sterling elsewhere, then Barini probably deserves to start over the players there. But there's a case for
Roger's track record says his track record says he's going to play Sterling up top, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah, basically.
Gerrard behind.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a worry already, though. We shouldn't be thinking too much about Chelsea, and yet we've kind of got no choice. It's our best chance of silverware this season, you know.
And not just that, we just want to beat Chelsea.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing that as well, that Chelsea, the fact that we've got the home leg first, it's not how you'd have it ideally, means that it's important that we actually. And they are a
little vulnerable. I know they won the other day, but apparently for the first half they were totally outplayed by Newcastle. And of course the game before that they got absolutely murdered by Tottenham. So I think if we can get at them, there's a few doubts there now.
Okay, well, we'll obviously talk more about that at the time. Daniel Sturridge is back at Liverpool, back at Melwood. Apparently not quite back in training. I think he's still doing personal fitness work and what have you.
It's a pity because he could be teaching the others how to shoot.
That would be nice. Just don't hit the target, etc., etc. Yeah, it'd be great. I mean, clearly I'd be very, very surprised to see him anywhere near.
I'm talking about Bolton as the game is most likely to start.
Really, yeah. I think that's probably right. It was your point from the last show, wasn't it? We don't want to rush him. We've waited too long now.
Yeah, definitely. Would you? I mean, it's kind of academic because if he's not even back in proper training yet, he's not even in consideration. But I think we've got to make sure Sturridge is, when he comes back, he's 100%. Ready to come back. There's no sense, is there, in reckoning. If you disagree on that, though, Daniel Sturridge is back. He's back. He's in training. He's at Melwood. He's there with the team. Is it so important? Do we run the risk? Would you personally run the risk of putting him back in? I can't see that any sane person would. But that's what YouTube's all about. So if you've got an opinion on that, let us know in the comments section underneath.
There'll be Arsenal, Man United fans going, yeah, just lash him in.
Absolutely, because they're so fearful of him. And rightly so. Score predictions, Dan?
2-1.
It's got to be, hasn't it, Chris?
I think they might score a couple, and therefore it'll be 3-2.
3-2. Wow. They're going to score 50% of their goals.
It would be like 20% of their goals in one game.
No, it's 2-1 all day, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, well, you know what? 1-0 to Liverpool. Yeah, 1-0. Because... Again, I'd be happy with that.
I called that last week. You play your tape back. I predicted 1-0.
You did indeed. I'd completely forgotten that. But we'll take
4 years.
Cool. Let us know your
John, in fairness.
Yeah. Let us know your score predictions in the comments below. Let us know who you think Liverpool should start. Does Gerrard come in? Does Raheem Sterling come straight back in the forward position? Thoughts on that or anything you want to discuss as well? If you want to have more in-depth discussion on Liverpool's transfer prospects in this January transfer window, we've done a weekly special show. Week 2 of it we're up to on the RedmenTV.com, where we consult the sheet, why we didn't go back in for Xherdan Shaqiri, why we didn't go for Wilfred Boney, a bit more on Daniel Sturridge being back, Osama Assaidi has gone, and we made a profit, Ross Barkley, Balotelli potentially to Juventus, and the most interesting debate of all is that if you need to generate money for a centre forward, do Liverpool have the balls, and have they got a plan in place to sell some players off? And who would you do if it was up to you to make that call? Would you sell players just to find that centre forward that Liverpool so needs? Yeah, exactly. And more in-depth detail on Gonzalo Higuain linked as well. So go on the redmentv.com. It's free for the month if you haven't done it already. As Chris used to always say, you've lost more
running for the bus.
Go and check that out. It's a good laugh, and it should hopefully keep you sane throughout the January transfer window madness. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Give the video a big thumbs up, thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you live for Match Day Live for the Aston Villa game of the weekend. The Express are talking about Liverpool eyeing up Ross Barkley, player.
top class player. Like,
just I'm talking about him. I'm not just calling you. I'm not. Yeah, go on,
not me.
Player. Go ahead.
I'm a player. Sweet. No, he's top class. Like, I mean, he's exactly the type of midfielder that I want to see Liverpool linked with.